This channel is supported by Truefire. Truefire is an online library
enough. You can get the Truefire All Access Pass for as cheap as they ever do it, the $99 thing. So just jump and do that if you're looking for the best price you can get Truefire All Access for.
I think what I want to preface this by saying is that you and I, may be looking for different things. So I'm going to explain personally what I'm looking for when I plug into a modeler and bring something like this on stage, and it might be entirely different to what you want. So I think that's important to note. So I'm not saying that my opinion is the one that matters. It's just I want to present these and just talk about how I feel this stuff works out. So for me, I have my presets that I've dialed in. I'm very comfortable that at home with most modelers into my JBL LSR 305s, I can be relatively satisfied with the tone and not have any nasty surprises. To that extent, you know, most videos you hear me playing sort of just plugged into Helix Native. I'm that comfortable with it. Now, what I found with some FRFR monitors and stuff like that is that, and PA as well, is that oftentimes when you go to take the thing live, even what you found at home with your monitors, as you increase the volumes, you think, well, that is not necessarily what I intended. Now, for me, what I'm personally looking for with a cab, if I do this sort of thing, and this is what didn't necessarily work for me terribly well about the power cab, and some other bits and pieces as well. What I'm looking for is just something that just plugs in. I don't have to tweak anything at all. I don't want to touch anything on the modeler. It's a bit of a lazy approach, maybe. So, anyway, this is the ToneX Cab. Everything's set level. The Barefaced, on the other hand, definitely clearer in this kind of example, right? Because, well, I don't know exactly why this is. These are both supposedly FRFR speakers, but one is definitely got less high-end information to me in this exact scenario here. And this isn't total science or whatever, but so that open back thing of the Barefaced cab also helps project it out behind you, which may be something that you're looking for. The ToneX, what I find is that it's probably got a bit more low end. A useful thing with the ToneX is that on top of it you've got the EQ like the FR12, so you can make tweaks. So I have found myself, you know, in particularly boomy venue, I could just go and adjust that EQ. If I wanted to boost the treble, so this is the Barefaced. This is the ToneX Cab. ToneX. Now at this volume, again, this totally is going to depend on what you're looking for, because here at this volume, I would say that the Barefaced seems to be clearer, right, and less muffled. So if that's what you're looking for, then great. I'm going to turn the volume up slightly because this is what I've sometimes found with this kind of thing. So hopefully they'll be slightly matched. This is the Barefaced ToneX. I think that's louder. Right, ToneX Cab. Barefaced. So, ToneX Cab, this is more or less like the FR12. Added complication that you can run IRs on it if you want, and presets. Crucially, this little boy here, the Amp Tone, which I tend to actually like. I'm going to use that over on mic at first. You know, this is it's got a output XLR, ground lift, pre and post output, so you can put the IR on there or not. And then you've got MIDI in and out to control the presets, and also an aux in, so you could use it as a monitor if you want. Barefaced is a little bit more complicated in terms of actual cabinet design. So this is their proprietary cab design, so it's got a fair amount of rear projection. Sorry, this is a tweeter, not a port, which I've got turned off here because to me tweeters are not my entire preference. I'll try and keep fairly impartial here. There's also a front-facing tweeter. You see, both of these are nice and compact. There's a Barefaced cabs are made in the UK, rated 200 watts there. There is a speaker output as well. So I think you could drive something else off of that. And then there's also a jack input. So that's another thing with the ToneX. This input could be an XLR or a jack. Another thing I really like about the ToneX is the kickback stands. That's on the Fender FR12 too, because I think you'll get an idea that much like any guitar cab, or really anything with a speaker in it, even PA speakers, they all sound a bit different to one another, and opinions are like arseholes, everyone's bleeds. So let's dig in a bit. Another thing I like about the ToneX is that you've got this amp tone thing. So if I put this all the way up, it was on mic mode, this is now on live mode. So the idea with this control is that it's going to respond, hopefully, a bit more like an amp type thing. So, Barefaced. So that's doing even more of like shaping and stuff. So we're at this point now with the ToneX, a point where we're really not dealing with full range flat response, right? We're dealing with a more idealized why that might be useful if I get rid of the high cut on this, because typically there'll be quite a lot of high end. So that is without a high cut. There's and screw any fizziness. And with the Barefaced, there is a bit more. Now if I wanted more clarity, can I get it? If I drop the mids a bit, push the treble, take the bass down a bit. I can't seem to get like the exact sort of clarity and fidelity of the Barefaced. But I am also not finding that I have to do anything with the preset to actually get it to that point where it's like, oh, it's not fizzy. It just has that warm sort of amp in the room, maybe even too warm for some people. Back to the mic. That's the flatter response. Barefaced. I think that hopefully gives you some indication that all of these things, even if they are FRFR, are going to vary greatly depending on how these things are put together. And really, there is still, I think, a lot of innovation to be done in this space. And really, I think a case of trying to get your hands on one of these things and seeing what works for you. Your preferences, as I say, are going to possibly be different to mine, or almost definitely. If you're looking for something that spreads the sound, you know, so like something like a deluxe reverb, for example, that open back cabinet wide, you know, chucks things like all around. Similarly, this, you know, is going to respond very differently to a closed back like the ToneX or the FR12. So if you're looking for that kind of less crowded, more clear tone, then that's something that might be a reason to check out the Barefaced. Equally, if I'm wanting something which, like for my own personal preference, maybe not even the flattest response, you know, when I listen to these side by side, you know, how accurate is this really? I'm not sure, but when I've used it live, it's just like, okay, that to me now sounds like my ideal version of what might happen if I plug in a modeler. I'm not getting nasty surprises. It's just like, okay, I can turn this thing up, and it to me feels like, it sounds like there's an amp behind me, which is exactly what I want from this sort of thing.